by. The Terry and Ted podcast is sponsored by the UPS Store Canada.
It's Wednesday, December the 11th. Thanks for downloading the podcast. You may not have downloaded the podcast on the Wednesday, but it appears Wednesday morning. We record it on a Tuesday, and sometimes we do it at 11, but today we're doing it 2, and none of this matters. Hi, Ted.
Not one bit.
Not a little bit.
No.
I get puzzled because I was just down at Cafe Gentili before we got here. And the legendary Cafe Gentili. Just what a lovely family. And that location there's been there since 1959. And somebody said to me, "What time is your podcast on?" So there's still a little bit of
people
wonder.
don't understand the concept necessarily.
Yeah, that you can, download it any time you like, right?
Yeah.
How's it going, eh?
Pretty good. I wore the beige version of the Peter Sellers background dancer from 1971 shirt.
Yes.
Today.
Well, it's striking because you don't see much. It's kind of a corduroy affair.
Yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube, you might not be able to tell, but it's, corduroy pants were big in the 60s and the 70s, and they made a lovely sound when you walked. And it's rare that you see a corduroy top, and it's got the professor patches again.
Yeah, it's got the elbow patches.
Yeah.
And
you want to show the people?
Sure, why not?
Sure, show the people.
It's made by a company called Miller.
Oh.
I went on Facebook and had a look. They market them on Facebook, and that's where I saw it. And I thought, wow, nice. That's nice. I like that shirt.
So it's Miller time.
It's right. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, and they've got all different colors and I made the mistake of looking it up on the internet, and now every second thing that comes up on my timeline is a fucking advertisement for a shirt.
Right.
That's all I get now.
But you do most of your shopping on Facebook and Marketplace.
No, not really. Just these shirts.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a real fashion segment of the podcast
It has,
these last couple of weeks.
The French fashion houses are beating our doors down trying to get product placement. We had Tigre Géant, and now we have Maison du Visage Livre.
Hey, let's thank our good friends at the UPS Store. The UPS Store.ca, are going to be very busy. I would imagine they're very busy already. I drove by the post office protest just down the street here when we came in to record today. And pressure is building on the government to do something about the post office strike, but it's too late for the holidays.
I was going to say, at this point,
even if they were to
that
settle
ship
it
has sailed.
Tomorrow, you'd never get the Christmas stuff cleared. A lot of small businesses are angry, making it difficult for a lot of people. Jess and I have decided we're mailing out our Christmas cards no matter when it. So you might get a Christmas card from us in March because we're sending them out. We ordered them, put them together, but we couldn't mail them. So
around the time you take the Christmas lights down.
That's right. Yeah. So we're saying to you, the alternative is the UPS Store. There's over 400 locations across the country, and they're so helpful. Everything from, buying an extra box that you might need if you're moving, and if you're moving at Christmas, good luck to you. If you're looking for stuff to pack, the presents that you need to get across the country, you need to ship those things across the country. You're looking for a mailbox because your at-home business is getting too big. You just go to the website at the upsstore.ca and you can see the blog there. They've got all kinds of great ideas for small businesses, and over 400 locations. All the people in those stores are small business owners like you may be. But this time of the year, if you're looking for an alternative to the post office, the UPS Store is where you want to go. They can pack stuff for you, or they can give you stuff that you can pack at home and then bring it back to the UPS Store. I've used them so many times and find them absolutely fantastic. And you can find a location almost anywhere across the country.
I forget to look and see if they have one in Churchill, Manitoba. You don't think they do?
I don't think they do.
No?
I could be wrong, and
we'll have to speak to David about that.
We'll ask David about that. It's a town of about 2,000 people,
900 miles north of Winnipeg.
Yeah, 2,000 people, and at one point in the year, about 400 polar bears. So
wow,
it's highly unlikely, I think, but. everywhere from, Prince Rupert to Langley to Calgary to Winnipeg to Saskatoon to North Bay to Barrie to Hamilton to Montreal. You'll find a store near you. I didn't mean to leave out the Maritimes, but I don't want to go on and on about this.
Big country with a lot of cities.
Yeah, it is.
And
Over
towns.
400 locations. The UPSstore.ca. That's a good place to start.
Yeah, I don't see anything in Churchill, Manitoba.
You don't, eh?
No.
That's too bad, eh, Ted?
I have the show's going to be a bit Christmassy today. It's
It
not
is
a
a little
Christmas
bit.
show, but it's going to be Christmassy.
Yeah. Before you get started,
Yes.
let's do the news.
What's the news?
Well, we wanted to answer you wanted to answer a note or two, and I wanted to mention the email address, which is
standing by the podcast at gmail.com.
Right.
Standing by the podcast at gmail.com.
and we read everything.
Yeah.
We do.
And we answer
them.
everything.
Yes.
If we didn't get to yours yet, we will eventually. And if we
Yes.
don't eventually, it's not because we didn't bother. It's because it slipped through the cracks.
Yes.
We were inundated, and we neglected to mention this in the last episode, but we were inundated with reaction from our comments 2 episodes ago in support of the Montreal Jewish community
Yes.
in light of what's going on with the anti-Israel protests. And I'm just going to read one
Of the
email
many.
that we
Yeah.
got, one of the many.
Yes.
Dear Terry and Ted, I'm a longtime radio listener who never misses the podcast. I wanted to thank you both for what you said during your podcast in support of the Jewish community. Your words speak volumes in this city, and I can only hope that more people will have the nerve to do the same. These are very trying times for our Jewish community, and thanks to people such as yourselves, I'm hopeful that Montreal will once again become the peaceful and loving city that it once was. Keep up the great work. Cheers, Mitch. Thank you, Mitch.
That's a lovely note.
And that note pretty much encapsulates what we've received from the Jewish community, and we did not receive one negative piece of email or one negative comment on any of our social media. Not one.
Yep.
People were unanimous in supporting us for supporting the Jewish community.
I wanted to mention, have you ever been to Angela's Pizza? Do you remember Angela's Pizzeria downtown, not too far from Concordia? When we worked on Fort Street, the all-night teams always ordered from Angela's. And when I lived in Alexis Neon in my early days and lived in Westmount in my early days, Angela's is a real Montreal staple. It's been there for a long time, open till 3 a.m. usually, which is, was great for the early days, when we were out till 3 a.m. and hungry at 2 o'clock.
You needed some carbs and some grease to soak up the alcohol in your system.
Angela's did that, and this is really sad news. Angela's is closing down after 40 years. They announced it on Facebook. They've lost their owner, Nick, for 40 years, it says. Nick has been the leader and custodian to the restaurant and its staff like a proud father. His hard work and contributions, love of people, and bigger-than-life personality gave the establishment an old-world charm rarely seen today, which is very true if you've ever been in there. In light of this devastating blow, we have to sadly inform you that after 54 years of operations, Angela's Pizzeria and Restaurant is closing its doors. So that's a bit of a blow for downtown, and sad news. Our condolences to Nick's family and friends. I thought I would mention that because it's another one of those, iconic places, especially if you went to university in that area, that's closing down. And the downtown area, I don't know if you've been downtown in a while, Ted, it's really, really changing. And
it's changing a lot. When I come up out of the subway downtown, now out of the metro, I don't know where I am. I look around and I don't recognize anything. I have to figure it out.
Yeah, where you are. Valerie Plante has really left a mark on this city, and it depends on which side of the fence you sit on for good or for bad. A lot of people think it's the greatest thing. I think it's really changed the city and not for the better. And I don't know if you read Josh Freed in the Gazette a couple of weekends ago. I didn't realize this. She's quietly closing more streets as she heads out of office next year. Banning
permanently closing them to cars.
Yep, banning cars on 2 key stretches of St. Catherine Street in front of both Concordia and McGill. The McGill Plaza, it's going to be they're calling them plazas now, will span from Robert Bourassa Boulevard all the way to Mansfield. St. Catherine, you will not be able to drive there. So you won't be able to drive on, in front of the Quartier du Spectacle. And soon you won't be able to drive in front of what will be called the McGill Plaza. And there's a Concordia Plaza between Bishop and Guy. St. Catherine will be closed there too. So slowly but surely, a lot of the streets in the downtown area are going to make it so it's just too much trouble to try and get near or on to St. Catherine. And, I know I'm of a different era, but when I grew up, St. Catherine was one of the most recognized. It was like Yonge Street, Portage and Main.
It was uniquely Montreal.
Very uniquely Montreal, and I think it's changing not for the better. And Montreal merchants say nobody talked to them about it. And Valerie Plante's response was, hey, you knew that's what I was going to do when you elected me. I don't recall that.
No,
I don't
I don't
recall her saying, hey, I'm going to put cobblestones on St. Catherine Street and make sure cars can't get on there. Anyway, the reason I bring it up is because listen, I don't want to get into the bike path, blah, blah, no cars, anti-car, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get into it because I don't live in the city. It doesn't affect me. I don't like what it's done to the city that I love, but that's just me and that's just my opinion. And if you own a bike and you're all excited, good for you. But I mention it because people need to be more aware of what quietly goes on. You know what I mean? Because the press, there's not a lot of press anymore. There's no radio reporters anymore. There's a handful of television reporters, handful of people at the Gazette doing the best they can. And the politicians could do what they want.
Yeah. You have to be on social media now to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And you have to filter what you read on social media.
Yeah.
Take all of it with a grain of salt. Figure out, what's true or what's your truth and go from there.
Yeah. And one more news item.
Yes.
We're sorry about the download last week. We had an audio issue. Something happened.
Poseidon took ownership of that.
Okay. Yeah. And anyway, we apologize for that.
Yeah.
And
these things happen.
Yeah, these things happen.
It was a technical difficulty, but it's
one
up
moment,
there now.
please. Yes. All right, talk about your picture, Ted, because it was fun.
Well, first of all, let me tell you.
Okay.
Let me share this earworm with you.
All righty.
And I noticed this when I was working at a radio station where they played, as of early December to mid-December, they would play all Christmas music all the time. So you'd hear the same songs over and over and over again.
All Christmas music.
And one of them was Brenda Lee's Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree.
Yes.
And it occurred to me as I listened to this song over and over and over again.
Yes.
That you think she's singing, later we'll have some pumpkin pie.
Yes. No.
She's dropping the F-bomb.
No.
She's saying, put your headphones on.
Put my headphones on.
Yeah.
All right.
You're going to hear it, and it's all you're going to hear for the rest of your life. Later, we'll have some fucking pie.
Okay.
Listen to this.
Festive.
Okay?
All right, here we go. Yeah. All right.
One more time.
Okay. All right. Brenda. Wow.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, she really is fucking.
Yeah, later we'll have some. So I can't wait until Christmas
And
dinner this year so I can say, hey, give me some more of that fucking pie, will you?
And it makes sense that she's saying fucking pie because pumpkin pie is fall.
Yeah,
dessert.
I thought the same thing. I thought to myself, well, I guess it just fit in the song because we never had that at our table at Christmas, did you?
Yeah.
No, pumpkin pie is, as Poseidon says, that's the Thanksgiving dessert. Yeah. I love fucking pie.
Sound like a Family Guy character.
Yeah.
I love me some fucking pie. Do you want to talk about your picture or should I invite my wife in? What are we doing?
As you wish.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Okay.
We didn't rehearse.
We did not.
No, we never do.
Okay, well, as long as we've got the Christmas theme going, let's talk quickly about the picture.
It was a great picture.
Yeah, I posted this on Facebook the other day. It's a picture. Now you can see the picture if you're watching this on YouTube. If you can't, it's
too bad.
My sister, who was 6 or 7. Myself, I was 5, and my little brother, who was 5 months. And it's Christmas morning, and I'm wearing an Argyle sweater, a yellow bow tie, and a plastic ammunition belt with a plastic hand grenade. And if you look on the floor, you can see my army helmet,
Right.
and there's also a plastic machine gun
gun,
there.
yeah.
And I was explaining to Poseidon, that's 1964, so that's not even 20 years after the end of World War II.
That's right.
So that's what we would get as
Yeah.
boys for presents. A lot of what we got was military
Yes.
themed because
Yeah.
we had just won the war, and it was cool to be
Yeah.
a soldier or pretend you were a soldier and to have toy guns.
Yeah.
Do you remember Secret Sam?
I do.
It was a briefcase, right? A Secret
Yeah.
Sam briefcase.
Yeah,
And
it was
you'd break it open and assemble your Secret Sam rifle.
It was a Christmas present in our house.
You got one. You got one, eh?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never got Secret Sam, but when I was a little boy, it was anything Army,
Yeah.
including GI Joe. GI Joe was
Yeah.
big.
Had those two.
Yeah, and then that was when I was like 6, 7. Then when I hit 9, 10, it became Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels
Yeah.
was the big Christmas toy.
Yeah. G.I. Joe was, you're playing with dolls. No, I'm not. It's Army guys.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
no
yeah.
one ever accused. No, in my
Yeah.
crowd, no one ever accused you
Yeah.
playing with dolls. That was GI fucking Joe, man. Yeah.
I think that's the way they marketed it. From Hasbro. G.I. fucking Joe from Hasbro. We're such idiots.
And I can't remember what. Like my sister would get Barbie dolls.
Yes.
But I don't remember anything else in terms of girls' toys
Yeah.
from back then. And I sent my mom a note and said, do you remember what you gave Sue for Christmas besides Barbie dolls?
Yeah.
And Mom said, no, not really.
Huh? Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, one of the things that was
Probably, yeah. Cookware, like Easy Bake Oven.
Yeah,
there you
Easy
go.
Bake, yeah,
Did you
yeah.
know that on their first date, Celine Dion made Renee Angelil a cake in her Easy Bake Oven? Did you know that? No way. Yeah. I might have made that
Yeah,
up.
you might have made that up.
I believe it.
One of the things that was hilarious about the picture was your caption about the Bloody Caesar.
Oh, yeah, because there's a drink. It's like a juice, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's sitting on my little brother's, like there's a little tray on
Yeah.
the jumper chair that he's in, and it's sitting on that tray. And my sister's got her hand on his head, and it looks like she's holding him back, and he's looking at the drink, right? And I said that my sister was restraining him from lurching at her Bloody Caesar.
And the other thing that struck me about that picture, Ted, and I may be, in my own head, when you look at it quickly, it looks like Charlie and Allie.
That's what everyone said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if you look fast, it looks like your son and daughter.
Yeah. Well, that's genetics at work,
Yeah,
eh?
I guess
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people say that about any picture of me when I'm little. They say, there's
Yeah.
Charlie,
Yeah.
Charlie Bird.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I guess it is going to have a bit of a holiday theme. Should I go invite Mrs. DiMontes in?
Not only should you, you
Okay.
must. I insist.
All right. We'll be right back.
One moment, please.
Okay. Are you going to do the music?
It's a shame that I can't remember the lyrics to Wet Ass Pussy. I would sing that.
My neck, my back. Lick my.
Poseidon knows them. Hi, Jess. Yes. Okay. Let's try to be gentlemen,
Yes,
Poseidon.
see if that works.
Let's do our best.
Hi, sweetheart. We thought it looks like, as you know, we have extensive rehearsals for the podcast.
Yeah, it sounds really rehearsed from
Yeah,
out there.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it looks like this is going to go into a bit of a Christmas direction. Not that this is a Christmas show, but because it's our last show before the holidays, we thought it would do a Christmassy kind of a thing and ask you to come in.
And you two have the best holiday plans I've ever heard in my entire life. I think the only person more excited about your holiday plans than you is me. I'm so excited to hear about your holidays and to follow you on social media. Do tell where you're going and what you're doing.
I said to Jess in the car that I'm going to be next to her and she's going to point and say, okay, this is what we're doing today. So, sweetheart.
Yeah, we are. We're going to England, and we're going to Liverpool, Manchester, and London, and we're following Paul McCartney around, really.
Yes.
And kind of visiting the England and going to a Manchester United game, which will be really fun. So yeah.
So that's a bucket list event for you, right?
The Man United game,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I've seen a Premier League game before.
Oh, have you? Who have you seen?
I saw Everton and Watford like 6 years ago, I think. I went
Okay.
like a Monday night game, and it was I got it for like $15 or something, and
Right.
went there. But I've never seen Man United, and Man United is my
That's
team.
your team,
so,
eh?
Yeah,
Your club.
it is my club.
How would you describe the atmosphere at a Premier League football match in England versus the atmosphere at a National Hockey League game in a red hot hockey market like Montreal?
I think it's way different just because of the sheer volume of people. Like you're looking at, if you look at a hockey game, it's 20,000,
Yeah.
and there it's like 80,000.
Wow.
So right away, it's a lot bigger. The other thing is if you want to see children swear at players, it's a great place to be.
With the British accent.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And their dads are just like rubbing them on the head, going, "Good for you."
Boy, lad.
That's my lad. Right there. That's my lad.
I saw when I went to see Everton and Watford, I saw a child have an argument with a woman.
Yeah.
Like just arguing
and
about
the
something while I was eating the little pies or whatever they've got going on.
The air
there.
is quite blue.
Yeah.
It is,
Eh?
yeah.
Yeah.
And the rivalry between fans is intense.
It is really intense.
to the point of hostility.
Yeah, there's major hostility. We're not going to a game that will have that much hostility. There still will be some, but it won't be.
So it's Manchester
not a
United
rivalry.
against
Bournemouth. So
Okay.
it's not really like
Who's
the weekend.
Man U's big Man City, I guess,
Yeah,
would
Man
be their
City is their
main-
local biggest
yeah?
rival, but their biggest rival is Liverpool. So they've got a lot of rivals. I think everybody, Man United is like the New York Yankees. People love to hate them.
Right.
And right now, Manchester City is the hottest team. I mean, Liverpool's doing really well this year, but Man City has had the biggest growth. And I think a lot of people jumped on that bandwagon.
My brother's a Tottenham Hotspur fan.
Yeah, they're a London club.
Yeah, and I think he says they're kind of like the Giants or the Canadians.
Yeah,
There's some
ask
potential
him-
there, but they're not right now. They're
Yeah,
not
ask
doing
him
so
the last
great.
time they won a trophy. I'm sure he'll be really happy
Yeah.
to give you that answer.
And who's Toby's team? Parker and Toby.
Liverpool.
These are friends that we're going to visit.
Yeah,
they're
so
Liverpool,
Liverpool, but
Yeah.
also support Luton Town, which
Yeah.
is a lower league team. So yeah,
Got you.
they've
Okay.
got a couple of.
Krista Berg is a Liverpool fan.
Yes, he is.
And Paul at the Burgundy Lion is a
As a Chelsea fan,
Chelsea.
which we don't like.
Okay.
we don't like.
All
that.
right.
Now, as a contrast, let me share this story with you while you're in the studio, Jess. A friend of mine who I grew up with in Fredericton, Sean, and his wife Janine went to the Canadians and Bruins game a couple of weekends ago, the 100th anniversary Boston Bruins game. And I sent him a note and I said, we're going to talk about it on the podcast. How was it? And he said it was a great experience. Sean wore his Canadians jersey because he's a Habs fan. His wife Janine wore her Bruins jersey because she's a Bruins fan. He said, we spent some time outside where Canal Street was closed off. Lots of Bruins jerseys and happy people doing games and promos. Terry O'Reilly and Rick Middleton had a long line waiting for pictures and autographs. She says, we've gone down several times for games. This was the fewest Habs jerseys I've seen. But having said that, everyone was very respectful and loved talking to us as we are a bit of an oddity, one wearing the
Yeah.
Canadians jersey and one wearing the Bruins jersey. And he said, what stood out for us was the disparity between Johnny Busick and Willie O'Ree. All the Bruins
Yeah.
alumni were there, including Johnny Busick and Willie O'Ree. Willie O'Ree was the first black player in the
Yes.
NHL, and he's
Yeah.
from my hometown, Fredericton. He says they're both 89, but Busick looked 100 and O'Ree looked 70.
Wow.
And it reminded me of a story my mom told me about Willie O'Ree's sister, Betty. My mom played high school basketball for Fredericton High School, and Betty O'Ree was on the team, and they had a road trip to St. John one weekend. And they got to the bus, and the bus driver said, she's not getting on my bus. The black girl's not getting on my
Good Lord.
And the coach said, well, then none of us are getting on your bus. If she's not going,
Wow.
none of us are going.
Wow.
And the bus driver relented.
No kidding.
And they all got on the bus
Wow.
and they went to
That's
St.
a
John.
great,
Yeah, that's an
great
amazing story.
story.
That is an amazing story,
Yeah.
but it's also, it's kind of sad that, within my parents' lifetime,
Yeah.
probably within our lifetime,
Yes.
definitely.
things like
Yeah.
that were
Yes.
still going on.
Yeah.
Just
Wow.
crazy. But
That's-
good for the coach, eh?
Yeah.
Good for the coach for standing
Yeah.
up. Yeah. And there's, as you were saying to me in your note, even though hate the Bruins, never been a Bruins fan, but the legacy, of that original Six Club is something
when you
else.
saw
Yeah.
the current Bruins going down the hallway and fist bumping
Yeah.
the alumni who were lined up on either side
Yeah.
of the corridor by the dressing room, and Bobby Orr and Phil
Yeah.
Esposito
Yeah.
and Rick Middleton and Cam Neely, and I mean,
Big names.
oh my
Yeah.
God! And there are a lot of Bruins fans in Montreal.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw the Zoom, drone footage.
Yes,
You posted.
I posted
it
that video. Yeah,
just before they did the big celebration.
Yeah.
It was quite something.
yeah, it was just amazing, just amazing. How many times are you going to see McCartney on this trip?
4.
Really? Are you serious?
Yes.
Are you spending like your entire retirement fund on this trip?
Almost. We do have reserve.
No,
I'm
no.
kidding.
So I'm going to 4. He's going to 3.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're
there's-
going to take a night off, are you?
Well, yeah. We have tickets
for
for
3 of them.
2 nights in Manchester.
Yeah, and
one night in London, and Jess is bound and determined to see the second night in London, and I'll be sipping a martini at the hotel, I think.
Right.
Yeah, but I've never the other side of my family's history is British, and I've been to England once, but I was dumb and not there for very long, and this time we really are going to get a look at a lot of different parts of like Liverpool. Because, I'm such a massive Beatles fan. Jess is going to take me around to Strawberry Fields and McCartney's house and just being in Liverpool.
What's the place where they used to play before they were
The Cavern
famous?
Club,
Is that still there?
Yeah, it is. It's not its
Yeah.
original
Yeah.
place, but you can go into the basement.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and it's quite a cool thing to walk those streets. When I went to Liverpool 6 years ago, I took the train and went to where Paul McCartney grew up, the house there. It's now a national trust, and you can go visit. And it wasn't open when I went, so I'm hoping this time we'll be able to go in. And then I thought, I'll catch a cab to the city center. And I thought, no, you know what? I'm going to walk from Paul's house to John's house, just because I thought this might be a cool thing. They would have done this back and forth, and it was a really cool experience to walk those streets and go, these guys, they were probably thinking about songs and song lyrics and, guitar riffs and going to each other's house back and forth. And I thought that was a pretty little pilgrimage, it was fun.
4 shows in how many nights?
It's 4 shows in, I think, 10 days.
Okay.
So
does he have other shows in that 10-day
No.
period as well?
No,
but
it's
still,
just those.
4 shows in 10 days speaks volumes about him.
Yeah.
in a big way.
How old is he now?
82.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Unbelievable,
It's
eh?
really,
Really
something.
is something,
He staggers them more than he has in the past. Like years and years ago, I went on a tour of the Midwest and did 7 shows in 11 days, and it was almost every night.
Do you know what kind of regimen he has for taking care of himself?
Well, he's vegetarian, so
Okay.
he will, he does that.
Has
He
been for a
exercises. Yeah, he
long
has
time
been for
too,
a very,
eh,
very
sweetheart?
long
Yeah.
time. Yeah, and his late wife, Linda, had a lot of. She did a lot of work for.
She influenced him in
Yeah,
that?
she influenced him
Yeah.
definitely on that, and they carried that forward. And I think he exercises a lot, and
Yeah.
I think that he has
Got good genes?
He's got good
Yeah,
genes. I
big
mean, you
time.
can't deny that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Didn't his
and a
father?
good head of hair.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Didn't his dad live to a
He
ripe
was quite.
old
He was
age?
quite old.
Yeah.
His mother was killed, but
Yeah.
his father lived.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're going to see other parts of England. We're looking to see what is it, Cotswolds?
Yeah, the Cotswolds.
And
yeah.
go to Harrods and do all the
Right.
and Britain at Christmas goes over the top in terms of celebrations and decorations.
Even though it's like 60% Muslim now?
Yeah, well, apparently Christmas still goes on.
Okay,
there.
good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to it. Why don't we include Jess in our Sugar Sammy salute?
We can do that, and I think we should include her in our call to your mom, too.
Yes.
Speaking
yeah,
of good
absolutely.
genes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of good genes.
Yeah.
Sugar Sammy is a sponsor to the podcast. I didn't bring my laptop today, Ted. So you can explain the when you go to the website, when you go to sugarsammy.com, that's where you should go before Christmas, because this makes a great Christmas gift. How would you describe them, love?
It's fun
Hey.
to be put on the spot. It's great.
Well, it's tough though, because it's a unique night.
It really is a unique night.
We
because-
saw him in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And we saw him in San Francisco, and each time it was like he was from there.
Yeah, the crowd work that he does is unbelievable.
Incredible.
It's unmatched.
Yeah.
I've never seen somebody be able to remember things. Power of recall is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's just,
and as Terry said, he does his homework wherever
He
he's
really
playing.
does.
He does his
Yeah.
homework. He doesn't have to do it as much if he does a Montreal show
Yeah.
because he grew up here. But you saw him in San Francisco. Did you see him in Seattle as well?
No.
We did. We wanted to. We didn't get a chance to, but we did see him like in Vancouver. He even does one show in Punjabi, I think.
Yeah, he did it in Surrey, I believe.
Yeah, in Surrey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
well, when you look on the
English and
website,
you pick your
I'm
language.
looking at his shows. Winnipeg, English.
Yeah.
Edmonton, language, English.
Yeah.
Yeah. Montreal, English and French.
Yeah.
I'm looking for Vancouver to see if I can find a Punjabi show. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me in the least.
He's just, if you've never seen him before, you're missing a really unique experience. As the quote on his website says, he provokes laughter and outrage. Dan Bilewski, I'm paraphrasing, but Dan Bilewski from the New York Times said that.
Yeah, well, you
And-
got to have a real stick up your ass if
Yeah.
Sammy's going to outrage
Yeah.
you because he's so funny,
Yeah.
and everything is meant good naturedly, and he's so likable. And if you're outraged, that's on you.
Yeah.
And his billboards are up around the city.
Yes.
You've probably seen them.
Yeah, I've only seen the Bonjour High one, and it's
Him
just his
peeking.
eyes. He
just-
looks like
yeah.
he's peeking over.
I love the campaigns
great.
are really great because
Yeah.
they're just there to annoy.
Yeah.
And that's what he wants to do. You know, he wants to disturb, and that's
Yeah.
what he does.
And
Yeah,
so
stir,
well.
stir the pot.
Yeah.
Ted was saying, in the days of expensive concert tickets,
Yes.
and we know that, love.
Sure do.
Boy.
What a great bang for the buck to get a ticket to see Sugar Sammy. Great Christmas present, and really non-expensive. I mean, I know you got to get there and get a babysitter and all of that, but
Relatively speaking,
Yeah,
for a
big
night
time.
out compared to going to a concert or
Yeah.
going to a hockey game,
yes,
it's an absolute steal. Montreal shows in late March on the You're Gonna Rear de tour, sugarsammy.com.
don't wait.
Nope.
Because if you wait,
No,
the
they're
tickets
gone.
will be sold out. Okay, I get not requests, but a lot of people have asked me about my mom, because I used to have my mom on the show once in a while when we were doing radio, and I always had her on the Christmas show, and so I thought we would call her.
She's a character.
Yeah, my mom is a character, and so is that what I do, Poseidon? I just push phone, and away we go.
Just give her a call.
Yes, here we go. Do I put it on speaker?
No, you don't. You make sure it's on Bluetooth.
Okay,
Give it to the young person.
there we go.
There you go.
Okay. There we go. Dad?
Hello.
Dad?
Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, you.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Say hi to Ted.
Hi, Ted.
Hi, Lou. How are you?
Not bad. How are you?
Pretty good, thanks. Did you play hockey today?
No, unfortunately, I haven't been playing since I've been sick, so
Oh, but
I miss it, but it's too bad.
you still play when you can?
No, I haven't played ever since I got sick, I haven't played.
Doctor said no, because
Oh, okay.
he's got a pacemaker now.
all
Yeah. Dad, are you guys eating lunch?
No.
Oh.
We're not finished shows.
What's that, Ma? Are you on the speaker? Ma, are you on the speakerphone?
Why? Well, I got the phone on.
Okay.
Working?
Okay. Can you pick up the phone, because we can't hear you very well?
Well, hang on. We'll go in the other room.
Oh. Okay. This was the live radio chaos I used to love when we were on the air.
Yeah.
You know, when you
I don't know. I'll turn on this main line here to see if it's any better.
Mom seems to be having fun with
Yeah,
that.
she's enjoying it.
Yeah. Anyway, people have asked me how my parents are, and
Hello, are you there?
yeah, still here, Dad.
Hey, is that any better?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot better, actually. Did you guys go to the living room, Dad?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Can you put Mom on the phone so we can ask her a question?
She's there. Hang
Okay. All right.
on, I hope I don't cut you off. I'm gonna put on speaker. Okay.
Yeah.
You there?
Yeah, it's still there.
This is an old senior home now.
Okay. But I need you to pick up the phone, Ma. I don't, because on speaker it doesn't work very well.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, there we
yeah.
go. That's better. How-
Okay.
is-
Well, you guys say you work with old seniors now, you know?
Yeah, well, that's all right. You're only 88.
Yeah.
Ma,
And
say hi to Ted and say hi
Oh,
to
hi,
Hi,
Ted.
Bev.
and say hi to Jess. Jess is in the studio with us.
Hi, Jess.
Hi.
Hi.
So
How's everybody?
everybody's fine. You know, Ma, people have been asking about how you're doing. I told you that I run into people who used to listen to the radio show, and they wanted to know how you were doing because we would call you every Christmas, and they missed your
That's
Christmas
right.
calls. Yes, and we would talk about Christmases gone by, and you would talk about Christmases that we were currently having, and Christmas has changed a little bit for you this year.
Oh, boy, it's changed a lot now. It's going to be the first year that we won't be having it here, but we're going to go to Kayla, who is our granddaughter, and Donna will do all the cooking, and Ed and I are going to go stay at a hotel.
So are you
I
going to
don't
be
know if that...
are you going to be in the company of children, grandchildren, and great grandchildren?
You got it.
That's a nice gift.
Yeah, no, it is. You know, we're very lucky. We're very blessed that everybody will be together and to be old and have great grandchildren. And they're like teenagers too now.
They get old. They get old fast, eh, Ma?
Oh boy, do they ever! Yeah, do they ever? And so do we.
I think it's great that you're still going and kicking at 88.
Yeah, well, losing the hair and losing the teeth and the hearing and all. Anyway, we're very blessed. You know, it's been good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Ted, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I still have my hair and my teeth, I'm pleased to say.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Are you going to be with your kids?
Well, hopefully I'll see some, if not all of them. One of them is in France, and I don't think she's coming home for Christmas. She lives there now. Lauren does, so I think.
Oh, I
she's,
see.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. At least see the kids and everybody. And oh well, I don't say you don't have a girlfriend, eh?
I'm sorry, I don't have a what?
A girlfriend?
No, not at the moment. But the day is young.
No.
Hey, Ma, I wanted to ask you a question. I was looking online the other day in an old Eaton's Christmas catalog, and do you remember the year that Santa Claus brought me Big Bruiser, the tow truck?
Oh boy.
No, eh?
Of course, that would be on Ranger.
Yes, that's right.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah. Oh,
And that
wasn't at Nanny and Papa's in Toronto, though.
no, that was on
No.
Granger, and
Yeah.
in the catalog. So it was probably 1964, 1965. In the catalog,
Right.
it said it was $14.95. That was a lot of money back then for you and Dad, what isn't it?
Well, you know what? Probably it could have been Nanny and Papa bought it.
Okay.
You know, and you know, everybody was dipping in at the time. Well, I mean, we were lucky.
Yeah.
We had much money, but we all had, you know, good Christmases and met Uncle Billy.
I do. Well, it's a classic story that Ted still loves about Uncle Billy taking out the Christmas tree. When we were out last Friday, we were in a building with lots of Christmas trees, and Ted said Uncle Billy would have a field day here.
Poor old. Oh, we had good time. So
anyway, and Ma, we wanted to have you on the podcast because everybody was asking about you. So
that's nice. That's really to say hello to everybody. And what can I say? Do you want what about Dad? You going to talk? Yeah, okay.
Well, that was the same thing.
Dad, don't worry about him.
Yeah, Dad never liked to do the talking when we had you on every year.
No, he didn't. And well, he's right into that, our Brit shows. You
Okay,
know, they
yeah.
come on during the day, and we got the TV
Brit
and all
box.
that.
Yeah. Well,
But,
wish
this is
everybody
important anyway.
wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Ma.
Okay, Merry Christmas, everybody, and all the best, and Happy New Year. And you and Jess have a wonderful time. When are you leaving?
We're leaving.
Monday.
Yeah.
And Ted, Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Thank you to you and yours as well.
Thank you. Okay, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Okay. Bye, Ma.
Bye.
Bye. There we go. That was terrible quality. That Bluetooth thing is that's the shits.
It was all right.
Yeah. Well, it cuts out a lot, and you can't
Yeah.
really hear it very much.
Modern
That's
technology.
a reception thing.
Yeah.
What's that? Is a reception thing? Is that what it is?
The building would interfere with the Bluetooth.
Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Just a concrete building? Yeah, absolutely.
They'll clean that up after we're dead. They'll have that all figured out. That's like today's version of back in the day when the TV was, you turn the TV on and there'd be a little
Yeah.
white light in the middle and you'd
Yeah.
bang the side of the TV and then it would come on.
Picture would come on. Put it on 12. The podcast isn't really, like we said, a Christmas episode, but we thought we would mention the holidays because this is the podcast for December the 11th, and that's it until the new year. So this will be the last episode of the Standing By podcast until we come back from a Christmas break. We've sort of modeled the season of the podcast much like the radio season, where you take some time off. Let's be honest, especially in Montreal, nothing goes on between, say, even the 23rd or 24th all the way through to the first week of January. Nothing really happens.
Yeah.
And we figured that's what we would do. We would have a little bit of a holiday vibe just before we said goodbye. And while I'm talking about it, I looked the other day, and it grows in views almost every year. I think people go back and find the Christmas episode. If you go to the Standing By podcast page on YouTube and type in Christmas episode, it'll come up. It was an episode we recorded about a year and a half or 2 years ago. And we had it's over 2 hours. It's a great podcast to put on while you're Christmas baking or wrapping or whatever. And if you haven't heard it, it's a lot of fun. My mom's on it. Ted's mom is on it. We invited Ted's mom, by the way, today, but she couldn't make it.
Yeah, I think she had to go see the doctor,
Yeah.
and her computer's dying too.
Yeah.
So
Okay. But if you go to the YouTube page and you download Terry and Ted podcast, the Christmas edition or the holiday edition, I forget what it's called, but PJ Stock is on the podcast. Jen Arden is on the podcast. My mom, Ted's mom, and there are a few other guests that I don't remember.
Peter Mansbridge,
Thank
Krista
you very
Berg.
much. Oh yeah, that's right. Peter Mansbridge, Krista Berg. We had some big names back then. I don't know how we got all of those important people to join us.
probably paid them. Like Kamala Harris.
Highly unlikely.
Yeah.
do
Here,
you want-
Beyonce, here's $10 million. Can you sing a song? No.
Do you want to go back to work, love, or do you want to sit with us? Or
It's up to you.
it's entirely up to you. You wouldn't know it, but Jess is at work right now.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you if you've bought her Christmas gift from Robert Richer Jewelers yet, but I don't know if I can ask that with her in the room. Or maybe she went and picked out her own gift at Robert Richer Jewelers
yeah.
and told you what you're getting her.
Tell Ted what you told me about diamonds, love.
Please don't buy me any diamonds. I'm not a big jewelry person.
You're
Is
not
that right?
I am not.
You're not a bling person.
I'm not a bling person. No.
Well, but
I have-
Robert Richer's not bling.
No.
No.
But
no.
I even had, there was ring specifications were like, please don't get a diamond that's too big. I don't want that.
Has she been to Robert Richer Jewelers in
No.
Dorval?
I have not
okay,
yet.
You've got to
But
take her there.
I'm gonna take you in there,
Yes,
love.
Yeah.
because
absolutely.
First of all, you would love the atmosphere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can appreciate really beautiful things.
And you know what's a nice gift that's not blingy And they're selling it specifically
Let me
for
look
this
at
time
that.
of the year.
Yeah.
This bracelet,
Yeah.
it's a bracelet that they're selling in support of the Quebec Association for Suicide Prevention. And it's only $30.
Yeah.
And $15 from each bracelet sold goes to the AQSPHI, Quebec Society
Right.
for Suicide
Yes.
Prevention. Yeah. And they're beautiful, beautiful bracelets. If you go on Robert Richer Jewelers' Instagram site, there's a video of Linda, and she's modeling the bracelet. And it's absolutely spectacular. And $30.
That's,
you can go to the jewelry store and
yes.
spend $30
Yes.
and get somebody a really nice gift and also make a contribution to an important cause. You don't have to go in and spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a diamond.
This is the thing that we talk about every time we talk about Robert Richer Jewelers. I used to think that I wouldn't be welcome in a jewelry store because I didn't have any money.
Because you're a bull in a china shop.
There's that too, crashing and banging everything. There's that. I didn't think of that. But that's not the atmosphere that is. It becomes apparent as soon as you walk into the door at the shop. They're lovely. They're welcoming, and as Ted's pointing out with this bracelet that does good for society and looks beautiful and would make a nice gift, and it's not going to break the bank.
No.
So-
No, and they contribute to the community
Yeah.
in a big way.
Yeah, they
they're
sure
they're
do.
involved in all kinds of local community causes. Also, they're going to be open on the 24th.
Wow.
So,
really?
yeah.
Last minuters.
Last minute
Yeah.
diamond shopping.
Yeah.
Get your thousands of dollars together and head on down to Robert Richer Jewelers.
Also, you could pick up a nice necklace or a pair
Oh,
of
yeah,
earrings or
100%,
something.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be.
And Linda sent me a note saying, by the way, she said, with any purchase of $50 or more between now and Christmas, you're eligible to win a diamond pendant worth $650. And there, Jess, there's a picture of the diamond pendant. That's
beautiful.
that's
That's
beautiful.
really
That's
beautiful.
not
Let me see that.
blingy.
That's
No.
gorgeous.
That's
That is-
spectacular. So you spend $50 or more, you go in the random
Yeah.
draw to win that $650 diamond pendant, and they're going to make the draw on Christmas Eve.
That's understated elegance.
Isn't it though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well put.
Yeah. Robert Richer Jewelers, they're right across from the Flim Flam.
They are at 309 Dorval Avenue in Dorval, across from the Dorval Mall, and not too far from where Tavera used to be.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That used to be our favorite pizza place.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was one up in Pierrefonds as well.
Yeah, on St. Genevieve.
Yeah. Are they
on
both
Gwen
gone now?
Boulevard. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
long gone. At
Okay.
the time when we moved to the West Island back in 1965, it was the only pizza place that was around.
Mm-hmm.
626-2973, I think, maybe.
I don't know. You're looking at me.
No, it's just, I wondered if you were
She
gonna
was
go,
in St. Agatha.
oh, yeah, you remember
There
the
actually
pizza.
there was a Tavera in St. Agatha.
Was there
Was there?
really?
Yeah.
My uncle
Oh.
was the chef there.
Wow.
Isn't that something? We, this morning when we got up, what did we have, about a foot of snow up in the Laurentians?
Yeah, like a foot and a half,
Yeah.
I think. It was, it's a lot of snow.
Do you have a
crazy?
garage? You park indoors?
We sure do.
Oh, boy.
We
Good
got
for
a
you.
garage, and we got a guy who comes to clear the driveway because
Right,
you
yeah.
absolutely have to.
Well, you
have
have
that.
to have a guy.
And you said in St. Agatha there's even more snow.
Yeah, so St. Agatha
What is the deal with St.
there's
Agatha?
it's the highest elevation in the Laurentians, and so
I didn't know this.
the amount of snow that you get in St. Agatha is a lot more.
And that's
than
where you
anywhere else.
grow up. Where you grow
Yeah,
up.
well,
That's where you grow up.
That's where you grew up.
Yes, I went to school in St. Agatha,
Yeah.
and so in the winter, whenever there was a lot of like a big snowstorm, a lot of times
St.
St.
Agatha
Agatha
would get the most.
would get hit really hard.
Yeah. Did you see Toronto earlier this month?
Yes.
Not Toronto, but
No,
north of
the-
Toronto.
Oh yeah,
Muskoka,
in
the Muskokas.
Gravenhurst.
Yeah, 140 centimeters.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, some people were stuck. We were saying this morning. This is a good lesson to learn. I left the house this morning with Jess with about 80 kilometers left in my tank, and we're 7 minutes from town. And I said, sweetheart, we got to get gas on the way out. And I went to the gas station, and as I put the hose into the gas tank, the power went out at the gas station. So there was no power. They couldn't pump gas. And I thought it's a great lesson to learn. You should never let your gas get low,
No.
especially in the winter. And I immediately thought of those people on Highway 11.
Yep.
Some people were there for 12
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
In the car for 12 hours. If you are in the car for 12 hours and you have like an eighth of a tank left, you're in a big world of hurt.
Yeah.
because you shouldn't be driving in the winter like that. And I learned the lesson this morning. I thought somebody told me you should never let your gas tank go below half.
Yeah.
In this time of year. And this is all new to us because we were BC people for 3 years. Except we got kicked in the ass the first year we lived
Actually,
there.
every year we were there, it snowed, and it was insulting because it was, you don't want the snow there. And also, the whole of the lower mainland of Vancouver shuts down when there's any kind of snow because they just can't function.
Well,
they abandon
their cars. They just go, oh, well, and they leave.
They just get out and leave?
They get out and leave.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of cars just
walk
left
away in their shorts and Bermuda shirts.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I was saying this morning, one of the things, talking about moving back to Quebec, and I get it, we live in a winter climate, so it's not news to anybody. But as we were driving from the Laurentians, our home in the Laurentians this morning to get down to the studio, I said to Jess, you've got to give Quebec credit because the roads were absolutely fine. Plowed, salted, ready to go.
Yeah, it functions.
You can function in the snow here, and that's another great thing about Quebec.
You know what I always thought was the most Canadian thing ever? When I was still working morning radio and I'd get up in the middle of the night and I'd go to Tim Hortons for a coffee on my way to work. And even if there was still a foot of snow on the roads, the drive-through at Tim Hortons was plowed down to the pavement. That's the first thing they take care of in Canada is the drive-through at Tim's.
Very Canadian.
Yeah.
I also wanted to thank, by the way, there was a couple of people that made a couple of comments on YouTube last week about electric cars and the snow tires that you need for electric cars.
Right, because Olivier sent us a note saying he was having trouble finding tires for his electric car, winter tires at a decent price.
And I'm not ready for the electric car market yet. And this dissuaded me even more because apparently, because of the weight of the electric cars, you have to get special tires for electric cars. And those aren't cheap.
No.
They are like over $2,000, I think, for 4 tires.
Well, Olivier said he was looking at $3,000.
Yeah,
for 4
there you
tires.
go. Yeah.
But then he called. He said, you guys have been shoving Merson down my ear hole for 30 years. So he called. He lives he lives east of the island of Montreal. He's like 90 minutes from the city. But he said he called Merson. Celso himself answered the phone and said, let me see what I can do for you. Put him on hold. Came back a couple of minutes later. He said, I found some Hakkapelitas, Nokian Hakkapelitas, at a significantly reduced price compared to the $3,000 that Olivier would have had.
So he made the drive.
Yeah, so he made the drive in. And I was thinking when you were talking about people being stuck on Highway 11, I don't know everything about what I should do and what I should have in my car for the winter time. Like there's, I know the basics, a snow brush, and windshield washer.
Right.
But there's more to it than that. And if you go to Merson to get your car prepped for the winter and get your winter tires put on, they take care of all of that as they did for you when you went and did your winter tires.
Yep.
Like Celso told you, we did this, we did that, we did the other thing, and you were like, oh yeah, I never thought of that.
There's that.
You don't have to ask them; they know what has to be done, and they do it for you.
Yeah, they make sure all your fluids, your brake fluid, your transmission fluid, your brakes are good and don't need replacing. They do kind of a basic safety inspection of the car. And I've said this for years before, too. If you're carrying your loved ones around in your vehicle, it's really super, super important. And if you didn't have snow tires on today, well, A, you're breaking the law, and B, you're stupid. Because nobody with snow tires could have got out of our area today.
No way.
Yeah, Merson will take care of you at every level. They'll give you a good price. They won't rip you off. They won't do work that doesn't need to be done. They won't sell you something that you don't need. They'll tell you when you might need it.
Yeah.
They might say, how many times have they said to you, your winter tires are good for one more season.
Yes.
But next year, you're going to have to start thinking about getting a set of winter tires. And they're good folks, and they'll make sure that you're well equipped for the winter time.
And that's why we've been going on and on about them for all this time.
They're on Sherbrooke, just west of Cavendish. They're online at mersonauto.com, and you can call them at 514-487-5545.
But they're not on Sherbrooke. They're on...
Did I say Sherbrooke?
Yeah, you said they're on Sherbrooke.
What's the matter with me?
I don't know. They're on...
Saint Jacques.
Saint Jacques, yes. Just drive down from Sherbrooke.
Yes,
You'll find
exactly.
them.
Yeah. Go back and forth on Sherbrooke and ask someone, stop and ask someone, where's Merson?
Yeah.
And they'll send you down to St. Jacques. That's good commercial, eh?
It is.
Yeah.
High-end marketing.
Yes.
Sweetheart, I'm trying to think of something that I've been talking about stuff we've been watching on the podcast. Those are big eyes.
Well, no, I'm
Are
just
you okay?
Here's one for you. Christmas albums. Do you have any favorite or recommended Christmas albums? Because I got two.
What a great topic.
Vince Guaraldi, Charlie Brown
Absolutely.
Christmas.
Yeah, a must.
And the other one I really like is Diana Krall's Christmas album.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So good. So good.
But the number one Christmas album in our house, and you'll be surprised to know this, is
Once Upon a Christmas, Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers.
I can picture that.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is my favorite Christmas album
Yes.
of all time. I always listen to it. It was a staple in my grandmother's house when I was a kid. And it reminds me when that first note kicks off, it just reminds me, it takes me right there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's one of the albums. And then the other one that I really love is Rod Stewart's Christmas album.
Yeah.
That one's a really,
That's a great one.
really good one.
And this year we bought Frank.
We bought Frank Sinatra.
on vinyl.
Really, eh?
Yeah. It's
You have a
big-
turntable?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah?
It's mostly vinyl in our
Yeah,
house.
we listen to mostly.
We listen to a lot of vinyl.
Yeah. I had a cassette of Christmas songs about 35 years ago, and there was a Frank Sinatra version of Jingle Bells, and it was a real jazzy version.
Yeah.
And at one point in the song, he says, keep your coats and hats, you lukewarm cats. I got my horn to keep me warm. And then it goes into a trumpet solo.
Perfect 1965.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And cassette.
Keep your coats and hats, you lukewarm cats. I got my horn to keep me warm.
And on cassette.
Yeah.
Remember that sound from a cassette?
Yeah.
You'd push play on the cassette and it would be like before it started.
And before that, there was 8-track.
Yeah.
Where you'd get not only that, but then when it changed tracks, it would be
Yeah. Yeah, those are the days, kids?
A little bit before your time, Jess.
Yeah. But we're big vinyl collectors, so that's not surprising.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I've talked about Shrinking.
Yeah, Shrinking is one of the best shows
On television. Yeah.
of the past, I would say, decade at least.
Yeah, it's if you're a Harrison Ford fan, it's such an eye opener.
Yeah, but it's beyond the acting. The writing is brilliant, and just the storytelling is
I talked
unique.
about it on last week's podcast, and we haven't watched it yet. But if you are a WW2 buff or WW11, as some people have said,
As the uninformed young newscaster once said while reading an obituary, and a veteran of WW11.
there is.
I think that's the greatest radio blooper I've ever heard.
I think so too.
Yeah. Sorry.
There is on Netflix. It's now available if you have Netflix and you're a WW11 buff. 4-part series on Churchill, one of the greatest men in the history of the world, if you're asking me. And it's 4-part documentary on Churchill and his life, produced by Ron Howard and Brian Grazer, who are the Imagine Film people who've done all of the amazing movies. And I started to watch it the other day, and I decided to put it on pause because my wife is a huge history buff too. So highly recommended, I think, based on what we've seen.
Yeah.
And the other ones, we're not watching any of the, there's about 9 million holiday cheese movies on all of the services.
I was in BC last week and had nothing to do in the evening, so I decided to watch one of the Lindsay Lohan ones that just came out, and it is just a flaming pile of garbage. But it's, it is awful, just awful.
Is it new or is it
it's
bad?
brand
Brand
new.
new.
Really?
I'm not really sure what the title is because, to be honest, I wasn't really paying attention. But it's really, really bad. And these Hallmark movies, I know people love them. I particularly don't enjoy them, but
and we lived in Hallmark movie
we
country.
did. They
in
filmed
Langley,
so many.
They film all kinds of
And
them.
they also film them where I work. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing. But I feel that the Hallmark genre has ruined rom-coms. I think that because they're churning them out
Interesting, yeah.
so much, and the acting doesn't matter. They're not getting A-list celebrities because it doesn't matter. It's just the volume. It's not the storytelling. It's nothing. You're not going to get your Notting Hills, your Pretty Woman's, your Runaway Brides. You're not going to get any of those
It's
films
just a
anymore.
mediocrity
It
factory.
really is. Yeah. It's just they've realized that the recipe is, big city marketing executive goes back to hometown and leaves entire life for Christmas tree farmer. This is really what it is.
And some of them are so like the fake snow.
Oh, it's
and
really bad.
like some of them are really, really cheesy. And-
However, I will say, having lived in the lower mainland of BC, you watch these movies and go, I know where that is.
Yeah.
I know where that is. So,
and the what was the one I put on the other day with what's his name?
that's a good.
Yeah, how's that for?
No, sure.
Good description. She knows exactly what you're talking
Remember,
about.
we shut it off with the bratty.
You know, the
kids
guy with the
and,
thing.
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller.
Called Nutcrackers.
Yeah,
And
I just thought, wow, this looks like it could be fun.
the opening 10 minutes were disgusting.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't. I thought it was going to be funny. It's not funny. It's a
Yeah.
comedy drama, but I'm not really sure what it is.
Wow.
What about Christmas movie, love?
Oh, Christmas movie. My favorite movie of all time is Love Actually. So
Yes.
that's the Christmas
How
movie.
many times have you seen it?
I don't know, like 150. I'm not even exaggerating.
Yeah.
That's the worst part.
So we
of
have to
that.
watch that every year. We've already watched that.
A Home Alone.
I like Elf.
Yeah, Elf is a
Elf is
classic,
another one. Yeah.
Santa! I know him. He's my favorite. Yeah, well, work is your favorite right now, okay?
My personal favorite line from that is, "You sit on a throne of lies." I must confess that I only watched The Holiday for the first time on the plane ride to BC last week, and everybody raves about it, and it's all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay.
Our Christmas schedule, our pre-Christmas schedule is upside down because of Paul McCartney.
It sure is. Well, be sure to blame him when we see him.
Okay.
Was Bad Santa with Billy Bob
Yes,
Thornton
it's
good?
we
I
actually.
need to watch that
we
again.
Just
I know
quoted that last night.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love that film.
Have you watched it?
Yeah, but only when it first came out. And how long ago was that?
Go long
it's a
time
long
ago.
Yeah, so
Go
I need to
back
watch it again, yeah.
One of my mom's favorite films.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she absolutely loves it because it turns the genre upside down.
Yeah.
You want a sandwich, Santa? If you watch Bad Santa, you know that
He's so
that
good.
quote. Yeah, Billy Bob Thornton. I mentioned this a couple of podcasts ago. He's on a series on Paramount called Landman, which is really, 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 really good. And it's really, really, really good because of him.
Yeah, and he was great in the other one about lawyers. What was that called?
Yeah.
Where he was the
Yeah.
lawyer.
Lawyer people.
yeah.
Yeah. It was on.
True Detective? That?
No.
It was
No,
on,
he played
it was,
he
it was
played
on
I don't know.
Prime.
Yeah, he played a lawyer.
Oh,
who,
I know what
who
you're talking
fa-
about.
He founded
Goliath.
Yeah, Goliath.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's right.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he was really good in that
Yeah.
too. Yeah, there was a really pretty girl in that too.
Every time I see or I hear the word Goliath, I think of
Davy and Goliath,
Yeah.
the claymation, yeah, the Christian. Did you ever see? Have you seen that? Yeah, a Christian.
You showed that to me.
Yeah, the Simpsons did a great spoof on that. It was
Yes,
a
they
Christian
did.
claymation
Yeah.
series, and it was Christian themed,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Simpsons did this spoof where Goliath, who's the dog, says to Davy, who's the kid, "What you doing, Davy?" And Davy says, "I am making a pipe bomb, Goliath, for to blow up Planned Parenthood." I don't know. And no, you know what? And it wasn't Davy and Goliath. It was Gravy and Slobiath.
Because of copyright, I guess.
What you doing, Gravy?
We've got some folks we are going to say hi to and best of the holidays, et cetera, but not before we remind you about our friends at Acutech. I was thinking of them today when I was standing there with the dumb look on my face at a gas pump that didn't have any power. And I thought right away, love, we have got to get the generator hooked up because where we live, the power goes out, not frequently, but easier.
It's ready to go.
Yeah.
It just needs to be brought outside when the power
Yes,
goes out.
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And the people at Acutech, this is not something you can plug in the wall. People at Acutech will be able to put you in touch with people who can get you a generator and they can make sure it's hooked up. A lot of people are turning to it after successive ice storms, as you pointed out last week, Ted.
Yeah, there wasn't just the big one of 98. There was one 2 or 3 years ago that was quite significant.
And a lot of people like to have them as a backup. I know that's what we've done. And if you are considering a generator, the folks at Acutech can help you with that. As I like to say every week, if when you run the washing machine, the lights go out, you want to get in touch with the folks at Acutech. You know, we've all lived in a house where somebody says, "Are you using the toaster? Then unplug the lamp." We've all been there.
Yeah.
And they can help you with that too. If you're in an older house that hasn't been updated electric-wise in a long, long time, you know it's a hazard, and you need professionals to look after it. This is another one of our favorite family-run businesses where Tom's dad back in 1995 got started, and through word of mouth and excellent work built the company that is Acutech today. They do commercial work. They do private home work. We said last week that if you've just bought a strip mall and you need to redo the electric, they can do that for you. If you're building a home up north and you need electric layout, they can do that for you. They can tackle almost any job.
And nice people. You said you had a nice email exchange with Trish.
I did
last week.
Yeah, wished each other great holidays, and they just. I said, "Are you okay with the way we're doing the ads?" And they said, "Yeah, we are. We've had some nice conversations with some of your listeners, which was
good.
really,
That's
really
good,
nice."
Yeah, that's the point of the exercise.
It's exactly right. And they're supporters of the podcast. And I know the podcast seems like it's just Ted and I wandering into the studio and doing what we want.
And to a large extent, it is.
Pretty much what it is. But we can't do it without our supporters. And Acutech is one of a list of supporters who've been very kind and very gracious. And we love what they do. It's Acutech, ACUTECH.ca. Get in touch with them. Trish will steer you in the right direction.
I bought Terry a Christmas present and left it at home.
I heard.
So now I can't give it to you until after Christmas, after you come back. And you know what it is? I'm going to tell you what it is.
All right.
Because Christmas surprise. You know, when I was a kid, we always knew, my brother and I always knew what we were going to get.
I never understood
because
this.
We would, with our mother, when our mother wasn't home, we'd go through all the closets, we'd go down into the basement, and we'd find all our Christmas presents. Isn't that awful?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It ruins.
What's the best gift you've ever received? Well, from as a kid.
The most memorable one as a kid was a Hot Wheels track, and it was the one with the loop.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
The car would go down, do a loop, and then it would,
your eyes pop out of your head.
Oh yeah.
Well, unless you've already peaked on December 20th, it's
Did I know? I might not
maybe
have
Santa
found that
brought
one.
that one.
Yeah, I didn't know that one was. I didn't know that one was coming. Anyway, I bought a bottle of Gila Fleur gin.
Wow.
At an auction.
Wow.
And so I'm going to give that to you when you come
Oh,
back.
that's very
You don't
nice.
even like gin though, do you?
No, wait, yep.
You like gin?
Yeah. Just
Anyway,
fine.
it's the bottle. I don't know if you've seen that
I was
bottle
gonna say,
where you
beautiful.
look at the bottle and you see a picture of Gila Fleur.
Do you want the bottle back?
No. It's for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very kind. I didn't get you anything.
Well, you didn't have to. I mean, I'm getting this for you. A, because if I drink it, there'll be big trouble. And B, you did all that extra driving to bring me to the studio when I still couldn't drive because of the anti-seizure medication, because nobody wanted me to be on the Metropolitan going, hey, doodle-dee, hood-and-doodle-doo.
Hey, Poseidon, we didn't ask you what does Christmas entail at Poseidon's house?
There must be a lamb on a spit at some point. Is there?
No, that's Easter.
Oh,
That's
okay,
Easter.
my bad.
Okay.
That's Easter. Just the usual Christmas tree, presents. We get
Yep.
together, eat. The food is a little more different. It's more Greek style.
Yeah.
There's
So
pasticcio.
it isn't turkey and stuff, is it?
No. Well, it depends. On my dad's side, they'll go a little more like Canadian style.
Yeah.
Calamari?
Which they haven't invited me in years.
Okay.
Because, it's complicated.
Yeah. Okay.
My mom's side, it's more traditionally Greek. Well, Greeks in Greece don't celebrate Christmas on December 25th. We celebrate it on January 1st.
Okay.
Because we're lazy. We just want, what is this? New Year and
What's the
Christmas.
hurry?
Yeah, just not. But you put them together, you know?
Yeah.
'Cause we don't want to have
Let's
to
do it
two
all at
different-
once.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But Greeks here, we do it December 25th.
Yeah.
Usually. Classic lights. It's very similar.
Yeah.
Because even in Greece, it's very there's no snow in Greece, but we're a Christian country, so it's very.
And Merry Christmas in Greek is what?
Καλά Χριστούγεννα.
Thank you. Same to you.
That's what I thought.
And then if you want to say it to you as well, you just say episis.
Epices.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds like spices.
Yeah, I think he just told you to shove something up your ass. I don't think that's actually Merry Christmas.
Is there a tweet sheet?
There is.
There is, as a matter of fact.
Okay,
You want to go out
because-
on that?
Well, I'm going to go out on some good wishes, and I think we're at the point in the program where
We are.
yes,
I just checked my watch. We're at that point.
You're at
yeah.
that point in the program.
You know, when you asked me about Christmas for Greeks, I was looking for something really stupid to say.
Yeah, I thought that,
But I was
I'm,
like,
I'm glad you didn't
But
because
yeah, I went the.
yeah, there's like a kindness and a warmth to
Yeah.
you just doing it that way.
Yeah. Which is different.
All right.
From the usual.
Yes, it is, but it's Christmas.
Yes, exactly.
Kinda. Yeah. Okay.
Here's what we got.
Hold on. Which
Okay.
one?
Yeah, this one's good. We'll start
Okay.
with this one from @Halifax. If a panda has the name Dan, should his nickname be Dando or Pandan? Assistant coach, you called our last time out for this? From Eddie Zipperer. I was all excited to go to McDonald's yesterday, but when I got there, I found out you can only see Donald Trump at participating locations. And I like this one from @Eddie Ferrero. Date. Can you pay for dinner? Me finishing my 6th cheesy gordita crunch. Oh, I'm going to pay.
The tweet sheet.
Poseidon said to me before, I don't get that one. And I said, well, have 6 cheesy
and
gordita
you'll
crunches
see.
and you'll get it.
Yeah. The tweet sheet is something that Ted you say mines the Twitterverse.
Yeah.
For some of the gold, because
Yeah.
Twitter's an ugly place.
It can be,
But it
yeah,
can
but there's
produce
still a lot of
some-
funny
yeah.
there. There's
Yeah.
still a lot of funny on Twitter.
I want to send some Christmas wishes to good friends of mine who've been very kind to us since we moved back from, we moved back in July. Dr. Uman and the gang at Cardiogenics, the family at NDG Bakery, Barb and Josh at the Monkland Tavern, Darren Basmegian. Darren helped me get organized. When you move provinces and you take medicines, I'm on a lot of medicines since my surgery. I really needed help, and Darren was very, very kind to me and got me all set up. Thank you very, very much to those people who helped us, make our transition back to Quebec a little easier. Because as excited as we were to come back, and we were, and we're very happy to be back. We were talking about it last night, eh, sweetheart?
Yeah.
We're just so thrilled to be back, and those just Merry Christmas to those people who have helped us along the way. And I was going to say hi to Toby and his wife Sandy and Parker and Finn, but we're going to see them.
We are going to see them, in a couple weeks.
in England. Yeah.
Who's taking care of your cats? You
My
boarding?
mom.
Oh,
My
is
mom.
she?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
So you
yeah.
didn't
My
have to
family
board
lives close by, and so no, there will be no boarding.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
get to live in their own
And
house.
how will the cats do?
They don't do well.
They don't do well.
No, eh? When you're not there?
Finn is.
He's got some psychological issues.
Yeah,
Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't even, just to give you an idea, I have to pack the suitcase while Terry distracts him.
Oh.
And then I have to wait till he's asleep, then move the suitcases into the garage so that he doesn't see them, or else he panics.
My cat sleeps.
Finn, not Terry.
Yeah. My cat sleeps on my swimming bag sometimes
Is that right?
and looks at me as if to say, "You're not going to the pool today."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Finn is Casey's kind of like, but Finn is, and sometimes she'll walk into the room while I'm packing and she looks at me, and this is idiotic, but I will look at her and say, please don't tell him. Don't say anything.
Don't
Yeah,
you
and
say
And then
word.
he'll get up and I'll be like, you told him you.
So they'll stay at your house and
They
your mom will
will.
come to
Yeah,
them?
she'll come
Okay,
to
that's
see
Well,
good.
this is another one of the bonuses about coming home
Yeah.
from British Columbia, where we were in the wilderness in so many ways.
But we did have I do have to say, we had a wonderful cat
Yeah.
sitter when we were away.
Yeah.
When we lived in BC, she was wonderful. She would come to the house and look after them, and it was great. But it's not the same as
We were
having
talking
family.
about, being able to have family come over, being able to go visit my
Yeah.
mom and dad, going to see Imre and Janelle for glasses earlier today. Like just, there's a whole sort of network of life that we abandoned when we moved to British Columbia. And there's a lot of joy in being back. And one of them is, your mom is a 10-minute drive away.
It's great.
I if the cat could talk, I'm sure the cat would go, "Where are you going? Don't leave me." So
before we go, along
Yes.
with Merry Christmas, we should also wish Happy Hanukkah to our great and good friends, the Jews.
yes,
Happy Hanukkah to all
Yes.
of our Jewish friends and listeners and viewers, of which we know there are many.
yes. And Merry Christmas to you, Ted.
Thank you.
And your family.
Thank you very much. Have a great trip.
Yes.
And,
we'll have stories to tell in the new year.
Well,
on the
listen, I know you'll
podcast.
have stories to tell, and I hope you'll take the time to I know you're not obsessed with social media to the extent that some people are, so
Yes.
not to the extent that I am, but I hope you take the time while you're there
Yes.
to post some stuff and keep us up to
Yeah,
date.
we promise we will. And we should have some interesting stuff to talk about in the new year when we return. So thank you so much for listening to the podcast, telling your friends about the podcast, downloading the podcast, and just a Christmas wish to you for doing that. And a reminder that we will be back on the of January.
Oh, yeah.
Early January,
Early
we'll be back.
January,
We'll
If you follow us on social media,
There you go. We'll let you know.
You'll see when we get back. I believe it's the 15th of January is our first episode back. We're going to have a nice long Christmas break. You can follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Ted and I have personal accounts. The Standing By account, Standing By has a Facebook account, an Instagram account, and a Twitter account if you want to follow along there. And like we said, you can also find us on YouTube and download the episodes at your will. And don't forget, there's that holiday episode I was telling you about. We recorded a star-studded episode.
Yeah, that you can post a link to.
Yes,
And
we could do that.
yeah, that might help.
our executive producer.
Yes, that's right. Poseidon, thank you.
Yakamakagalakis.
Yeah. Especies.
Merry Christmas.
Have a great holiday, everybody.
Standing By, the Terry and Ted podcast has been brought to you by the UPS Store Canada, delivering more for small businesses in Canada.